I would like to invite the Assembly to turn to this agenda item, the annual report of the Director General on the implementation of the work program and budget for 2020-2021. The Assembly has before it a document with the same title containing in A/11/3. It gives me great pleasure to invite the Director General to deliver his presentation. You have the floor, dear Francesco.
My pleasure to report to you on the implementation of the work program and budget 2020-2021. Let me begin by welcoming you once more to the 11th session of the Assembly. Every session of our Assembly is special occasion that provide much needed political impetus and direction to our efforts. This time, the Assembly deliberation will be more consequential as we collectively look for the way out of the current crisis. The pandemic upended life as we know it, exacting a huge cost in human suffering, threatening to derail economy and reverse progress across many dimensions of development. But a generation crisis like COVID-19 also present a valuable opening to renew and reorient our course. This has a significant impact on IRENA and its mission. It is safe to say that things have worked out differently from what I had expected when I took office in April 2019. Some of the priorities I laid down at the time have been put to be taxed sooner than expected. You know, when I introduced my report I did last time, I want to also do now, I always put on the screen the last slide of my presentation during the election process. This was my vision in the context of the medium-term strategy plan for IRENA, how to affirm the leading authority of the agency in the energy transition. And so also my presentation will try to see how far we went in the direction that has received your trust. Unfortunately, the agency has to adapt swiftly to ensure mission continuity while contributing to the global response to the pandemic in line with our mandate, resource and comparative advantages. Despite the challenges, there's been good progress on all fronts. We argued early on that renewable will weather the storm better than the rest of the energy sector. This has been proven to be true. I remember we have been the first, have been the only one in sending clearly this message. Renewable energy, while suffering along with the global economy, has outperformed the alternatives. Electricity systems with high share of renewables continue to operate effectively, and renewables remain the technology of choice during the downturn. Here in the slide, you can see how much money the G20 committed to clean energy in 2020, the unwillingness improve in the reduction of greenhouse gas. This unfortunately was also for the recession. And what is from the positive side, how 27 countries and the European Union has committed to net zero as listed in this slide in front of you. These developments have provided an opening for the agency to position energy transition as a vital element of the recovery efforts. And this has been underlined also in our I-panel discussion. We align our report on post-COVID recovery with IRENA's Global Renewable Outlook to 2050, So we have been able to put together the medium long-term perspective of our global renewable outlook and the short-term response in coherence with the medium long-term response in our post-COVID recovery agenda. In this way, we have been able to link immediate action with the medium long-term priorities set out in Sustainable Development Agenda and in the Paris Agreement. The post-COVID report showed that investing in renewables, efficiency, infrastructure, and innovation is not a regret option. You can see that this can contribute to having more jobs, as a good contribution on GDP. And these are the 2 trillion yearly investment that we need in the 3 years to get where we may say that we positively respond to the challenge in front of us. IRENA argued that by investing in both people and technologies, government can make energy transition an effective tool for economic recovery toward a resilient, equitable, and prosperous future. Fairness has been mentioned many times in the discussion we had until now. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a lot has been done in the past decade. IRENA's renewable energy generation statistics show that capacity has more than doubled between 2010 and 2019, reaching over 2,500 gigawatts. And you can also see in the slides how the installed capacity of renewables in the last years has outpaced systematically the installed capacity of the fossil fuel traditional plant. And we are sure that this 2020 will widen the zero between the two paths. This is in large part due to the strong business case of technologies enabled by the progressive policies and strategies. IRENA estimates that replacing 500 gigawatts of existing coal plants with the highest operating cost could be economically replaced with new utility-scale solar PV and offshore wind. And here we can see how the cost has been decreasing dramatically for all the technologies in the renewables field. Today, more than ever, policymakers are looking for amplifiers as the economic downturn forces a fresh look at the current plans and strategies. And renewables-based energy transition is such an amplifier, as it can bring at least 3 times more jobs than traditional source. IRENA annual review show 11.5 million jobs in 2019. And we have seen from the data from the IRENA post-COVID how we can impact for the better with going for the energy transition, accelerating it. With recovery measures focused on energy transition, we can add, as we say, almost 6 million jobs in the coming 3 years. This is not just a number. It is a 6 million livelihoods, dinners at the tables, books for the school, shoes for the soccer games. It is our primary mission to empower our members with knowledge and tools to translate the opportunities that energy transition offer into policy, strategy, and results. 2020 challenged our quest to drive action on the ground. But we are using all means available to provide targeted and impactful support. We are at present working directly with some 70 members to support the energy transition and the strategies. This in the context of the climate promise of the NDP, as in collaboration with the NDC partnership. Why NDC work impacts on a total population of 1.3 billion people and energy-related greenhouse gas emission of 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent per year. It includes 17 of the world's least developed countries and the 20 small islands developing states. This work program prioritizes project facilitation to translate policy efforts into investment strategies and realize projects that will improve lives and livelihoods around the world and leave no one behind. Under the circumstances, many of the initial plans had to be adapted, but we have still made significant progress. We operationalize the climate investment platform that we set up with UNDP and C4O and in collaboration with the Green Climate Fund. And we have already reached more than 300 partners and 175 projects. And even in this difficult situation, we are starting to see positive developments and hope to bring some projects to fruition. We are also planning to build on the work of the IRENA Abu Dhabi Development Fund project facilities with the aim of announcing a new facility by the first half of this year. Through our direct work with countries, we gain tremendous understanding of their realities that also help to shape priorities for analytical work. Let me highlight some examples. Out of 188 NDCs, 134 include renewable energy targets for electricity generation. However, only 56 include targets for direct heat and transport. So these are all the reports that we've been able to publish just in this difficult year. And our IRENA's Global Renewable Outlook shows that 60% of energy-related emission reduction must come from sectors other than power, other than electricity. Our report, Reaching Zero with Renewables, provides detailed analysis of solutions for transport and industry, so the different sectors that are difficult to electrolyze. Again, we can see the central role of renewables as they account for over 50% of the emission abatement potential in this sector. Let me be clear, progress in this area is not only about technology choices. I think that our President, Teresa Ribera, made this very, very clear. It's also about policy option, market solutions, foresight plan, international cooperation. All has to be finalized to increase the human welfare. The renaissance of hydrogen is one of such examples. With a growing number of countries committed to net zero, competitive hydrogen produced with renewable will be a key component of the energy mix. The energy mix of the future, our energy system of the future will be based largely on renewables and complemented by green hydrogen and bioenergy. IRENA estimates that green hydrogen can be cost competitive by 2030. So many years before it was considered just 1 year ago. In this context, we developed a guide to policy making to help overcome barriers and maximize benefits from deployment of hydrogen. But to make fundings inside alive, we are partnering with countries, private sectors, and other entities, as we will only be able to make difference with an inclusive approach, targeted partnership, and common action. These are the ones that we have been engaging in only in this last year. With the agency participatory approach, we are pursuing greater member engagement through collaborative framework, which also bring a range of other partners and stakeholders. And here in the slide, you can see listed the collaborative framework that we have been able to set with our membership as the co-facilitator of this activity. This will be a way to put the membership in the heart of our work and to be full part of our work. Naturally, we have also to work with the private, as is in the tradition of IRENA, And members has also repeatedly stressed the importance of IRENA's collaboration with the private sector. In this regard, I wish to mention that we adopted guidelines to facilitate collaboration with the private sector. With these guidelines, we can adopt a coherent and principled approach that preserves the integrity and independence of the agency while ensuring that all players, I repeat, all players in the energy transition are at the table. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, let me reflect on some important institutional aspects. Your timely contribution to the core budget and generous voluntary resources have ensured that we have the means to fulfill our responsibility. You can see from our slide, 94% of the program output is in progress or completed. We have received 92% of the core budget contribution already received, and we have received also 7.6 million from 11 different donors that are listed in the slides. I wish to express my sincere gratitude in this regard, especially in the view of the current circumstances and competing priorities. We take this as a sign of the importance you place on our mission and trust you have in our ability to deliver. And we can only deliver with staff with professional excellence, as was in my first slides, and unwavering commitment. I wish to pay tribute to all the staff of the agency who have performed impressively under the trying circumstances. We found creative way to work remotely but together. We are always trying today to create again the same atmosphere of the St. Regis where usually we had our plenary session, General Assembly, in this virtual mode. And I have placed great importance on improving geographical diversity and gender balance as promised. You can see from the slide that is coming, as we have increased the number of countries that are providing professional in the IRENA work. We have now 43 nationalities. We have more women than men in the core staff, ensuring gender balance. And for the first time, we have the senior team where we have a perfect balance between women and men. And the senior staff represent all the continents where IRENA is actually working, all the continents. Since the submission of the annual report, there were further improvements in this regard. At the senior-most level, we have now reached, as I say, gender parity for the first time since the agency's establishment. And I remain committed to improve diversity at all levels so that can mirror our membership and harness the best talent. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we don't know what the years ahead holds, but we have no time to waste. With your guidance and support, we can set a fresh, just, ambitious energy transition agenda, one that will help us make a resolute shift towards a better future for all. It is my hope that 2021 will be a year when the world left the old energy system behind and embraced a resilient, equitable, and inclusive way forward. I thank you, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Director General, for the comprehensive presentation you have shared with us. Thank you to all your team that follows a very long-standing sound tradition of being quite performant and quite professional in an impressive pathway along the last 10 years. Thank you to all donors, to the donors to the core budget, to the donors to the special reports and initiatives, but also thanks to the host country that enables and facilitates the work of the agency.